welcome to my channel. Well, I thought I'd give you an update on this particular knife and what I did to it and what a difference it makes. Just cutting these sharp corners right here off made a huge difference. I also went down almost flat with this. This material is a lot stronger than I thought. Tobias was telling me how they do this process here, and it's not just like a decal, it's electrostatically, charged to it and everything else. Also, it's pinned. If you see right there, there's a pin, and you go up here, and here's a pin. So it's not just glued on, it's actually pinned in. This is a pretty good knife. Now, what I did was I put it in my hand at first, and I felt, what do I not like about it? And then I also did a comparison, a contrast and comparison. With this is the Wild Turkey one with the excellently rounded handles and everything. And I compared it and the case. The case is a better fit, but it's like a $200 knife. A lot of people are not going to probably have a case, to compare with it. But this one is like a $20-something knife. Now, as you can see, this was sculpted up. It was made for a right-hand person. If you look at it, there's more taken off on this side than there is on this side. So you can tell this was designed for a right-hand person. But what I was looking at was the handles. What did I like about the handles? And if you ever watch Forged in Fire, when they're making knives for people to test and stuff, the guys that make a perfectly round handle, they usually get on them or tell them, hey, your knife is good and everything, but it's really hard for me to figure out where the top is, and the blade shifts around in my hand. So you want a little bit of a flat, but the ergonomics, the difference between a round feeling handle, this knife feels great now. Now see, I did a little bit. See, this one was already down. I can't really go up because these are not as thick handles as the Wild Turkey one. And those Wild Turkeys are, even though they're bigger than this, they're more ergonomic. They fit than this one was originally. So I would sit there. The first part I did was I put this on the belt sander and I knocked down most of this, not all of it. I knocked down most of the difference in height and all this. And you can see it got back down to like the primer or whatever. And on some parts, I went to the steel, down here, because, man, this just feels so good when there's no snag here. And your hand's going to be gripping this part the most. That's why I didn't worry too much about the total backside. All right. So I got that, and I got this. And then I took 120 grit sandpaper, and I just started going back and forth and smooth. Actually, it got pretty warm on that sandpaper. When you're doing it by hand, with the friction and everything, you can almost start a fire. All right, so when you do this, it's going to knock any finish off, that they had on there, any gloss or whatever. I didn't worry about this. I was worried about getting, comfort. And once I got it to the point where I liked it and it felt good and everything, then I put one coat of linseed oil on it. Now, if I really wanted to, you can see there's some scratches and other stuff up here. If I really wanted to, I could have gone through the progressions of sandpaper and just smoothed it out. But like I said, I want this thing to not only look good if it wants to be a wall hanger, but feel good if you pick it up. Now, a wall hanger, yeah, it's just going to hang out on the wall, and occasionally somebody's going to say, ooh, can I look at that? And you'll say, yeah. See, there's scratches here because I took sandpaper to it and everything. If I want this thing to be a wall hanger, then I should probably, polish all that back up and make it look like it's brand new. But this thing's functional, man. It's got a good balance to it, too. You would think, this extra brass is going to make it really blade heavy and make it a chopper. Look at that. That's your balance point. I thought with removing some of this weight on the handle, I'd make it more, the balance, I'd throw the balance point off. And it did a little bit, because it's about the same, though. I didn't take off that much material. Now, this side was sticking up. See, this side was down a little bit. See, it was recessed. It's 1:30 in the morning. And I don't know if you heard that, but that yelling is from all the way across the compound. Basically, exactly opposite from where my apartment would be. There's this group of people that are living in an apartment that are very vocal. Anyway, I took some sanding here and knocked it down. I'm not trying. This one does have that right hand effect, you know, where it's your finger is a little bit more indexed if you're holding it in what they call like a saber grip. But there you go. I just wanted to give you a little heads up on that. Rather than let it be chunky and blocky and everything, I sanded it down. And yeah, it doesn't keep, you know, like the print all the way through here, you know, like it was before. Oh well, you know. So this is stainless steel. I'm not worried about this now being exposed to rust, you know, because this is probably 440 or 420, you know, type of steel. 3CR13, you know, some alphabet soup type of Chinese steel, but still, it's pretty good. I mean, for the money, you could take one of these for the price. They're only like $25. I also trust Chinese-made buoys a little bit more, especially from Rough Rider, than I do Pakistani ones. And that's just a bias, personal bias, you know, just because I've seen the quality coming out of China compared to the quality coming out of Pakistan. And the main difference is the steel. All right. Now the Pakistani ones, there's nothing wrong with them. Like I said, you can get a good chopper with mild, you know, with a softer type of steel that'll do everything you want and not break like a harder steel would. A harder steel is going to get a big chunk right here. Which would you rather have it? You know, a chunk that's half moon chunk like that out of your blade, or a roll? You know, a roll, you're not going to have as much metal taken off to fix it. A chunk, man. A chunk like that, man. If you get a chunk like that, yeah, that blade steel was real tough. It was real strong. It was also brittle, you know. Rockwell hardness, high Rockwell hardness is not the be-all, end-all of a perfect knife. You know, there's a lot that goes into a knife. Geometry, balance, ergonomics. If you pick this knife up, and every time you use it, like, I like it, but it feels like I'm holding a 2x4. It really did. It felt like I was holding a piece of lumber from here's your handle, here's a piece of lumber. Well, you know, even a broomstick feels a little bit better because it's rounded. It feels a little bit better. So now we got the best of both worlds. We got a flat, where we know where the blade is. It's not going to roll around in our hand as much. And it's smooth, too. It feels great. I'm carrying the sucker now. I put it in this little dangler, and away we go. Me and my Sidewinder. So, all I'm saying is, if you get a knife, especially if it's got a wooden handle or some type of handle, and it's not fitting, you hear that. I got a little carried away. I was trying to rotate it with the belt sander and went, oh, well, I'll leave it. Fix it. Make it your own. It doesn't take much. It doesn't. I sat there watching TV and mindlessly kind of like doing this and getting the dust all over me, and then putting it in hand, you know, and feeling it. And now I love it. It does not feel blocky at all. It's great. The three best buoy handles, as far as fit and finish feel, to me are the case. Number one is the case buoy. Number two would be this one, as far as like how good it feels in hand. And this guy would be right up there with the number threes. Bear and Son feels a little bit better than the case one. I mean the cold steel, because the cold steel Wild West Bowie is just a little bit long and bigger. Feels more like a short sword to me than these do. So, seeing I didn't damage the snake. I almost got his nose up here. I was doing this and I went, whoa, watch that. You don't want to take that out. But yeah, there you go. I thought I'd give you an update. Don't accept, don't just put what is it? It's not regulate. When they, it begins with an R. Oh well. Don't just leave your wall hangers up on the wall if the main thing that kept you from using it was the way it feels. Now I can understand if it's a wall hanger, then leave it alone. Let it hang out on the wall. Don't let it get any scratches at all. It's not a save point. It's like a save point on display. You know, a wall hanger. Yeah, sorry, I run my mouth long enough. Thank you for watching. Oh, and don't forget Pepe's little thing that Pepe keeps pushing here. Because go ahead and enter on his little thing he's got there going on, because even if we don't get another member within a week, we'll go another week. We'll give it another week. And then if nothing happens, and poor Pepe, you might see Pepe crying. He might not have a smile on his face. Anyways, thank you for watching, and have a nice day. And watch out for Sidewinders.